Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it on itch.io. Last season, we followed the crew of the DBC as they took jobs and completed missions all across the EMA sector. Known for its scattered areas of corp interest and significant presence of independent mid-tier operators, EMA exists on the rim of the Cygnus state. When last we left our pilots, they had just helped a group known as the Astro Uprising steal an in-production capital ship out from under the noses of Corsec, the primary defense contractor for the Cygnus state. The balance of power has shifted. Rising unrest, corporate crackdowns, uncertainty amongst independents. These paint the background for the world we return to. The crew's been working for their sponsor, Ren Polities, on special assignment for the last 3 months. Ren is the owner-operator of AO Station, and they have tasked the DBC crew with investigating some leads Ren believes are connected. Everything so far has led to dead ends. The current mission. Another settlement has gone quiet after being contacted by no assists. Ren has found the lead after they were informed by a concerned worker on AO Station who lost contract with his cousin. We open back up on the DBC en route to this lost settlement. This is now the third mission you have been on for Ren, and while the last 2 missions have been too little too late, you're hoping to get there with haste, so you departed immediately as soon as you found out about it. We will return to your characters on the DBC in transit to the location. How you doing, pilots?
Alive.
Staying alive.
Frustrated, the last 2 missions were kind of dead ends. But, doing okay. What do we know from what Ren told us?
What you know is that, there was someone on AO Station as a worker who has a brother, or a cousin, that is. I think they were maybe your brother earlier in my notes, but cousin made more sense for what I'm doing. So they have a cousin who was living on an Outer Rim settlement. He was really close with his cousin. And, has been getting reports like, we've started, getting no assists here, like kind of doing the whole, missionary type stuff where, trying to go out and like recruit people into their beliefs, but like in weird ways, like we'll train you how to do a skill. What have you always wanted to do? Oh, you like to learn about weaving, and then they'll teach you weaving and stuff like that. It's an odd sort of thing. So that's like the last few communications that he got. And then their normal check-in that the one on AO Station confides, like, well, every so long, we have an ongoing game we like playing together, and it's like a hot seat style game. So he sent his move out to his cousin. And usually, in a couple of days, he gets his cousin's move come back, and then it's like space chess, right?
Yeah.
And he just never got the move back from his cousin. So he sent him a message. He's like, hey, how are things going? Just checking back in on you. And then the last time he could have gotten a communication, nothing. And he looked into it, and he's like, no messages have come in from that settlement through the warp gates in like a week. So that is why Ren is dispatching you. You're hoping to get the jump on it this time, maybe get there sooner than the last ones you got to.
So Astro's on the bridge, and he'll turn to the person sitting at the operator station on the bridge, and he'll ask Ruination Conditioning, did you look into any net chatter about settlements disappearing, like I asked you to?
Of course I looked into it, and you didn't even have to ask me to, boss man. You know I got that covered. And plus, if I found anything interesting, you think I'd just sit on it?
Probably not, but I never know with you sometimes.
Oh, well, that's a good working relationship. Distrust your operator.
No, I trust you. I just, I want to blame you if you're trying to, if you're holding things close to the chest. We did imprison you on the ship a lifetime ago.
Why do you
hear
and
a chuckle
Evelene
from the seat next to you?
Why do you and Evelene bring that up in almost every conversation I have with you?
And then Evelyn walks in because it's hilarious. That's why.
If the money wasn't good, I wouldn't be here.
Look, you got room and board. You get decent food. You can't complain, right?
No, I can complain and collect my check. Thank you.
At this point, Dyne will walk in and goes, you can only have a running joke go for too long.
Thanks.
Lean off it just a little bit.
See, that's why you're not in comedy, Dyne.
I don't need to be in comedy. I'm good at what I do.
Evelyn takes a bite off of her tuna sandwich that she has on her that I just mentioned now.
Well, keep it up, RC. Let me know if you hear anything. I'm hoping we get there quickly and figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, you got it. And you hear mumbling under his breath.
Evelyn just kind of raises an eyebrow at Astro. Like, it's sort of like an unspoken, like, is this gonna work out type look. Obviously, like, Ruination's not, like, she does this when Ruination's not looking. So.
Astro just kind of gives a oh, excuse me. Oh boy, I choked on some water.
Was that in character?
That's out of character. That's out of character. It works both ways. The player Todd is gonna die in the first 10 minutes of this session. You're gonna have to replace both Astro and me,
taking over Astro's position, right?
I quit.
Okay, apologies for that. So Astro just kind of shrugs and sits back down in the captain's chair. And he'll turn to Dyne and Evelene and say, so what do you think? Any theories as to what's happening?
Well, given the way our past two missions have turned out, nothing good.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait till we get there and find out.
I honestly think it's going to be a mix between the cousin just being pissed off at this chess game to nothing being there. It's one of those two options, I think.
Well, the last settlement we went to was completely empty and abandoned. We couldn't find out what was going on there, and we weren't the first ones to arrive either. If we could get the jump on this kind of situation as it occurs, maybe we can arrive early enough to actually get some useful information to bring back to Ren.
Yeah,
and maybe that'll give them the answers they're looking for as to why their station got attacked back when.
Well, if our choices are range somewhere between guy got mad at losing a chess game to the colony is disappearing, you never know what we're going to find out. It could be literally anything.
I guess it could
maybe
be
it's just a really sore loser.
Dyne will just sigh and just be like, I don't quite think that's it, and just walk out of the bridge.
I'll follow too. Like, who plays chess nowadays? It's such an old game.
You hear Ruination Conditioning mumble, these losers don't even play chess.
Astro says, hey, I play chess on occasion. At least I know what the pieces do.
You get a notification on your terminal at your captain's chair.
I'll bring it up.
It is a message.
Challenge.
It is a message from Ruination Conditioning.
What does it say?
You open it, and it links you to a program that is the first move in a chess game.
Aha! He'll take his move, and he'll like do like the worst move you could do in chess. Like he'll move like the pawn at the very edge, like up one space.
You send it back to Ruination Conditioning, and Ruination Conditioning just actually like sits back in his chair and slowly raises his hand up in front of his face, just like.
I never said I was good at chess. I did once play a Grandmaster, one of my early movies, but I didn't have time to really research the role. It was a rush job.
Grandmaster who always loses.
All right, so Astro will just remain on the bridge and continue monitoring the progress on their journey for now.
All right. So you guys are going to have about a week to get to your destination, just based off of the timings that you were able to find between AO Station and the Lost Settlement, with the various like gate openings and the fastest routes that you were able to calculate. So you have some time here. You do not know what you're going to find when you get there yet. But what I'm going to give you all the opportunity for is on route there, all of you are going to get a downtime action to prep for the next mission. So what do you do on the way to the missing settlement? Let's start with how about Steve? Steve, how are you doing?
Steve, the new guy.
I would have just been sitting there in the chair, listening to their conversation, go back and forth, and idly wondering to myself, is that kid old enough to drink?
He doesn't look it, Steve. So, Steve, you stand reasonable at about 6 foot, shoulder length, wavy dark hair, a little bit of white, scruffy beard, like a little bit of white coming through in your beard. A little bit of worn clothing, and interestingly, as you sit in the pilot's seat listening to all the yammering of these people happening behind you and the constant vexation of Ruination Conditioning over at the operator's table to your right, you sit there with is your cigar lit or not right now as you sit there in the pilot's seat?
It wasn't until Ruination continuing or whatever his name is said like his second or third sentence, and then it lit.
And then he lit up, started smoking. Yeah, it's gonna be a long time to get to the destination. You've punched everything in, everything's good to go. Let's start with you. What would you like to do as a downtime action this coming week to kind of prep for going into this mission? It is similar to the first mission you did, another lost colony. Is there anything you think that Steve would do to prep?
I'm trying to think if there's any way I could. I want to like be able to scan when we get to the colony better. I don't know if there's something I can do to my mech or something I can adjust the sensors to like prep them beforehand to like get a good sweep of like what's happening soon, like as soon as we can to try to save time, you know?
Okay.
Trying to think of how to go about doing that, but I don't know, maybe I can like, you know, substitute a system point for like a better scanner or something. I don't know.
Okay, so you want something on your mech to like help out with that.
Yeah, let's do that.
What kind of, tell me what benefit you're looking for from it so I can determine what you would need to do for it.
I think the main goal is to try to save time.
Save time. So it's a time saving thing. Okay. So what we can do is a proactive gather information. I will basically say you can roll it now, but it will resolve when you arrive. It'll give you reserves for having some information that's extra about what's going on the planet and in the vanished settlement that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so what do you want to use as your pilot skill for this check?
Read a situation?
Yeah, that's perfect for this, actually.
All right. I have a +4 to. I rolled a 13.
All right. On a 10 to 19, you find what you're looking for, but choose one. You leave clear evidence of your rummaging, or you have to dispatch someone or implicate someone innocent to avoid attention. So something's going to happen when you gather this information that will be a downside. Which of those is more interesting to you?
Let's leave in like clear signs that we're there, and let's say that I have like sensor spikes that I'll like put in the ground around where we're going to be looking that like bounce off sensor signals further, something like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that counts as a success. You can mark reserves now, and then when you need that information, I can tell you what it was you discovered.
Okay.
All right, that makes sense. So what narratively do we see you doing on your way there to like prep these things to get ready for what you're doing?
So I'll get up from the pilot seat, and go, all right, we're on autopilot and there's nothing going there for a while. I'll slowly walk past.
While you're walking away, Astro said, "Hey, Steve, I just had a good idea the other day. What do you think if we have a daily tea time here on the bridge, and Jessica can bake cookies and bring them up here? Wouldn't that be nice?"
Tea?
Yeah, it's like an old British tradition. They would have tea time, and they'd have tea and biscuits after supper. Supper back then was lunch.
You both hear behind you, "You are so lame."
Sure.
Torsay would have liked it, Astro says.
Can I still drink coffee during it, or?
Oh, yeah, it's called tea, but you don't have to drink tea. It's just like another meal time.
Kind of like nods to himself, and you can't see his eyes behind his dark glasses, but just seems to be like looking off in the distance for a second. He just hands you his lit cigar that he's taken like 2 puffs off of.
Astro will take it automatically and then look at it and be like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do with this?"
Sure thing, boss. Tea time, right? And it pulls out another cigar as he walks out of the room. I'm gonna go prep for the mission.
Astro, not sure what to do with this cigar, gently puts it on his armrest to deal with later. Is it still lit?
Yeah.
I guess he'll try to snuff it out on the armrest.
Just leave a
He
burn
doesn't
mark
have
on
an
the rest.
ashtray or anything, so he just uses an empty coffee mug he has.
You just douse it in a slightly like wet at the bottom coffee mug, and just you hear at the bottom of your mug. Ruination Conditioning looks back at you, looks at his monitor. He goes, "If you need me, I'll be somewhere else." And then he takes out a headset and puts it on over his ears, and you see him reach for the volume knob and then just turns it way up.
Is there some headbanging involved?
No. The sounds coming out of his headphones, the stuff that reaches past the noise canceling headphones, seems discordant and random to you, Astro.
It's just a techno version of the AOL sign-in.
It just dial-up modem sounds.
All right, so Steve, you head off to, I guess, probably the hangar bay where most of the actual equipment is stored in their giant ass storage bay. You've realized after starting to work here that they just drive around a giant like cargo ship as their like mercenary vessel. Most of their ship is this cargo bay, and you just like look around this giant basically warehouse that you're trucking around with you at all times, as you try to find the supplies you're gonna need.
Well, I wouldn't call it style, but it works. And then I'll start scrummaging through different stuff, trying to find the tools that I need to make what I want.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. And you do that. You're able to, package up some sensor modules, some spikes, some portable like energy packs and stuff like that. And you're able to like wire them together, get them wrapped up, bundle them and stuff, and kind of get it packaged together as a loadout. So it's going to take you a little bit of time, but that's what you get up to in your free time is getting those pieced together. All right. Who wants to go next? Who has their best next idea for their downtime action?
I've got one.
I mean, what?
I've got one.
All right, Dyne. Yeah.
All right. So last season at the end, Dyne had requested information from Tor about that mech that self-imploded and some of that technology.
Yep.
So in his free time, after he received that information from Tor, because they did a pretty even information trade, Dyne has been trying to translate that into like workable what he can work on, and he's managed to translate at least one system that he thinks he can work on. So he wants to start like a project to kind of integrate that into his mech.
Okay. And what were you thinking you wanted to get from it?
So when we were fighting it, Dyne noticed that their weapon system seemed almost preternaturally accurate. So he wants to create kind of like an accuracy system for one of his weapons that can utilize that technology.
Gotcha. All right. So what I will say is, first, what downtime action do you want to use for it?
This seems more like get creative, because I am attempting to make something, or I guess tweaking something.
Yes. So I can go ahead and let you roll on that to interpret the schematics you have. And what are you looking to increase the accuracy of?
I am specifically going to actually let me pull up my mech. It is going to be my soul pattern laser rifle.
Okay, the soul pattern. All right. Okay, yeah, that's your +1 self-heat rifle, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, and right now your accuracy overall for most of your weapons is what, +3?
My grit is 3, so that would be a +3.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
The only weapon that has a flat accuracy on it, like a +1 accuracy, is my solid core.
Yes. Yeah. The solid core does have that nice bonus with it.
Dyne received all of this information and it was overwhelming, and this is what he's been able to translate so far.
All right. Yeah, let's roll your get creative. What pilot skill are you using?
This is definitely a engineering weapon systems and reactors role. It definitely fits with what Dyne is learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's roll it up and see where it leads us.
1d20 + 4. I rolled a 1. I rolled a 5.
Ooh, yeah, that's not the best. So On a 9 or less, you don't make any progress in your project. But the next time you get this result for the same project, you get to upgrade it to a 10 or 19. So if you roll horrible next time, you get to have a moderate success.
I'm going to attribute this to Dyne still not completely understanding the schematics for this really super weird weapon.
That is what it is. So I'm gonna give you a lead on this as kind of a consolation prize. Okay. You know that after talking with Tar about the information you were given, the people that were able to source this information for you are very secretive, and in fact are quite afraid for themselves because the one that you know about specifically is like an ex-R&D person whose conscience got the better of them and fucking fled for the hills, basically. So what I'm going to tell you is if you want to make more progress on this project, you might get a bonus to it if you find and can somehow speak with Timaeus Flores. That is the contact Tor has that used to be ex-R&D. And these are literally his schematics that you have. They seem rather alien and nonsense to you, but if you can get the person who sourced these schematics for you, I will give you a bonus to future rolls on this.
Can you type his name out in the chat so I can add it?
I will type it out, and then I will say it out loud, because I can't do two things at once, or I will misspell both.
It'd be impressive if you misspelled it while you said it.
His name is Timaeus Flores. It's TIMEOSFLEORUS.
All right.
You know that they are hiding kind of in the outer rim. So if you find a person as a go-between that can get you in contact with them, if you can open up a line of communication with this person, it will really help with deciphering the schematics you're trying to use.
Makes sense to me.
All right. So yeah, Dyne, you just spend, the week getting there, like poring over this, trying to like make prototypes based off of like what you've read. And it just, you're like, okay, well, for this to work, I need something that I know I just can't get a hold of. So I'll need to improvise. And then the improvisation doesn't work. And you're like, okay, well, I need to find a workaround. And then you try some workarounds and you think maybe they might have worked, or maybe there was some user error in there. So you kind of have to basically scrap the project and start over.
Sounds good.
All right. It sounds like, Evelene, you had an idea for your downtime as well.
I, too, am working on a project.
I noticed.
So, since the last mission, unlike Dyne, who has something to work with, Evelene had nothing because the mech exploded.
Yeah, it's gone.
You can't do much with that. So she started from scratch. It is the same build as before, but she kind of uses this as an opportunity to optimize some things and build things better, especially because some systems were sort of kind of attached on, but now this is an opportunity to sort of like optimize some things, get some more opportunities out of the tech. Unfortunately, she isn't done with everything she wants to do. She's kind of been working on it on and off, and right now the current project is to sort of improve the BMAX, because previously it was it's basically just something that she stole from a rival mech and just kind of worked it into her battle axe. Now I think I know she's working on basically a proper BMAX. Like right now it does basically what it did before, but she wants to make it better. Ultimately, she wants to make the charges of the BMAX armor piercing, and that's what she's been working on for a bit, and she'd like to kind of continue that work.
Okay, yeah. So this is already a custom weapon, so you're basically trying to upgrade it. This is going to be a get creative roll.
I forget. Do you put a modifier on that, or is it just a straight
Yes, you can use a pilot skill on this.
Okay. Well, I have this thing. Would creative engineering apply? No, because
creative engineering is more MacGyvering things. This is like a very specific, like you're trying to upgrade military hardware.
Can I provide some expertise as someone who has more, like some expertise advice as someone who has a little bit more understanding of weapon systems?
Yeah, you know what? I imagine you're pretty present there, and you have been like narratively helping Evelene with this. Evelene, you can go ahead and take accuracy on this.
Okay, because I don't think I have a modifier otherwise, so I will take that D6. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I roll that, and I get a 26.
Wow, you rolled max
The
for the
exact opposite of
D20
me.
and the D6.
I stole your luck.
Yeah, this is why you didn't make any project on your project, Dyne, is because you like got really sucked into Evelene's project. And you're like, I'm getting so confused by all the weird notations on this notes. Evelene's project is nice and simple for you. You're like, okay, I know about lasers. I know about power output. Okay, let's do this. So you kind of like dive in.
I didn't even need the accuracy.
All right, so on a get creative roll, on a 20 plus, you finish your project before the next mission. But if it's especially complex, you treat it as a 10 through 19. But only choose one thing you need. Good luck. Good news. I'm not counting this as especially complex because it is something you are working on for a significant amount of time. I imagine you've been able to do a lot of the prep work as part of your, like upgrade to the next license level and your time on AO station. So how many charges for your BMAX do you get?
3.
3. And that's always 3 charges per mission or per repair. It's per long repair though, right? You get all your charges back on a full repair. Okay. And how much damage add-on does the beam weapon give you at activating the beam version?
2d6 plus 2.
It adds a 2d6 plus 2, or it is total 2d6 plus 2?
It is total. So the regular roll is a 1d6 plus 2. It adds an extra d6.
It adds a d6. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. From now on, you can upgrade the axe. Here's the bargain, though. In order to equip the armor-piercing laser onto the axe will cost you a system point. So you finished it. It is a piece of equipment you have, but it is going to cost you a system point to equip onto the mech.
Frick. Yeah. Begrudgingly fine. I'll get rid of my custom paint job for it.
All right. We'll remove your custom paint job, and you will use that extra system point to basically, it's like the power system that you need to install into your mech to support the amount of power output the laser axe needs. Because the laser axe isn't self-sustaining. You need like an actual extra boost of energy that is what that system point basically represents. But you now have 3 charges per long repair of additional 1d6 damage plus armor piercing on your axe.
Sweet. So it's still 2d6 plus 2?
Yeah, the total damage is still 2d6 plus 2, but now add armor piercing whenever that's active.
Nice. This is fine. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You did the project correctly. All right.
Thank you for giving me your luck.
Thank you.
I'm still a little bit salty about those rolls.
Use the thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Astro, how about you? What have you been doing?
So I think just preparing for the mission at hand, I'm going to do a power at a cost downtime action. What I would like is to get a tactical reserve of +1 accuracy for my marker light. So the way I'm imagining is Astro's just upgrading the software package that the marker light runs when he when he uses the marker light action, which, by the way, is a full tech attack that causes the target to take 2 heat lock on, and they can't benefit from soft cover. It also allows other players to attack a weak spot. So basically, I just want to power the cost, see if I can get accuracy for activating my marker light on this mission.
So when you seek power at a cost, you get your hands on something. Name what you want, which you did, and you definitely get it. But depending on how hard it is to get, I get to choose things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, let's see. How did you do this? So, someone off. No, you already pissed off everyone you can. Okay, so chooses 1 or 2. I will only choose 1 because it doesn't seem that outlandish to me for you to have this.
Yep.
Okay. You're able to do this, but the upgrades you've done are kind of adaptive and slapshod. It's going to fall apart damn soon, is the option I'm choosing. So you get this. You have plus accuracy to your marker light for the duration of the mission, asterisk.
Okay, until it breaks.
Until something happens, and then I tell you, hey, remember that accuracy you have on your marker light? You don't have it anymore. So yes, that is what you have. What you know is that it is a tentative upgrade, but it is one of those things that hasn't been field tested. So this is the narrative conceit for it, is that you don't know if it's going to start causing other problems. And if if the upgrade you did starts causing other problems in your system will flush the upgrade to protect itself.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of like a protective thing. It's like you've installed unstable software, and it's like we will revert back to the previous version if like this starts to cause crashes, basically.
All right.
Please wait while we reboot and update the Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not unplug the power during this time.
Damn it, there's no snooze button. I just have to restart.
But yes, so what does that look like? What are you doing during this upgrade? Also, since we're here, you're doing an upgrade in your mech. Your mech has changed since last we've seen it.
Absolutely. It's a different frame Astro's using this time. So he's no longer... if you recall in the last session, the final cut was completely destroyed. So his mech was blew up in a fiery explosion, taking also his NHP Hitchcock with it, sadly. So he is experimenting with a new frame, and he's using the Goblin frame. So the Goblin frame is a like kind of a hacker platform. So it's like has very good systems and tech attack and e-defense. So it's a small mech, very small. The way I kind of described it looking, and I didn't realize this at the time, but it looks a lot like Eggman's mech from Sonic the Hedgehog. It's kind of like a pod that he gets into. It has a seat, and the upper part of it is a small tinted glass bubble, which his head he can see through, and he puts his arms through some joints and into these articulated mech arms. But the legs operate on their own power. It's very small. It's like it's like kind of like the size of like a worker mech that you would see,
like a power
almost
loader.
A person.
Yeah,
exactly. Kind of like the size of Ripley's power suit. Yeah, exactly. So so while he's setting up this marker light, upgrade. He's basically going to be tinkering around with the software systems of his new mech. So he'll get inside, he'll turn things on, and he'll turn on, when he turns on his mech, his new AI will come up. His new AI is named Lynch, so named after another old film director.
Fantastic.
Yep. So do you want to play this out, Bob?
Yeah, so what happens is when you get to your mech, you kind of boot everything up. You have loaded everything in. You've been through a few missions, and the kind of advanced firm you've been working with to test their gear, you kind of report back that all parts were lost in the field, and they sent you some very frustrated emails. All of which you responded to, and basically they're like, look, it couldn't be helped. I have no data to send back to you. It all got lost. It all went down with the ship, basically.
This is my sponsored firm, by the way, that provides me with all this new tech.
Yeah, so they were able to get you new stuff, and I imagine a lot of these changes were on purpose, right? Like, you wanted a new mech that was kind of like this.
Yes.
But some of the changes were dictated by, well, we don't have all of the stuff we used to give you because that was our old iteration of the technology, and this is the stuff we're testing now, so we're going to send that to you. But they still have a new NHP for you. It works very similarly to your old NHP, but they couched it in some cautionary wording. That they were experimenting with slightly loosening the NHP shackles to see whether or not they could trigger what they termed loose conscious thought to increase the creativeness of the NHPs.
Yeah.
They're trying to work on allowing them to be a little bit more creative in the field. So yeah, they've sent you Lynch. As you turn on your mech, you see kind of loading up on one of the screens just an image of a anthropomorphic rabbit. It is the body of a person in a very business-like suit with a black tie and a buttoned-up suit, but the head is very obviously a rabbit with two ears pointed straight up in the air. Somehow the rabbit looks serious. I don't know why, but the way the eyes are shaped and its brow is shaped, it almost looks like it's furrowing its brow a little bit. But that's the image that comes up on one of your screens. And it just observes you for a little while. It doesn't talk right away. As you start tinkering around with the systems a little bit, you notice it's starting to monitor the upgrades you're making, and you just hear it say, "Huh, that's interesting."
Yeah, I'm trying to upgrade the software package that the marker light uses. I think it could help me in this next mission. What do you think?
Keep your eye on the donut, not the hole.
Right, got it. I'll take that under advisement.
I think you almost got it there.
Say, Lynch, actually, you'd probably be receptive to this idea. I think that we should have tea time on the bridge. What do you think?
What about coffee?
Coffee? You know what? Steve asked about that too. I suppose we can have both coffee and tea.
Bad coffee's better than no coffee.
Yeah. I guess that's true. But I prefer a damn fine cup of coffee myself.
Damn fine.
And I'll continue. I'll continue fiddling around and running diagnostics with Lynch, and getting that system upgrade installed for the marker light.
You wait for a little bit, and Lynch doesn't interject much, but you can tell that you sometimes will do something that you're like, I could have done that better. And then over your shoulder, you will also hear echoing your internal monologue, you could have done that better.
Yeah, and so Astro, since he started working with this new NHP, Lynch will sometimes say some kind of stuff that makes him a little uneasy, like what's really going, on in that brain, in that AI brain of his. So it's kind of like he's always a little bit on edge with the new NHP. It's much less predictable than Hitchcock was.
Let's just say that there is a point where you asked it about something that happened on one of your previous missions, and what it actually said to you was, I like to remember things in my own way, how I remembered them, not how they happened.
Would you believe it?
He also likes to tell me when it's Friday. He's very into that.
He gives you weather updates even when you don't ask for them. And he's always reminding you when it's Friday.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we made all our David Lynch references here.
Listen, I have a notepad full of them. I didn't even get through like a fourth of the ones I have written up here. So
I got a couple more. I'm saving for later.
Yeah.
Too bad Cody's not in this campaign.
But then that's all the whole episode would be.
I know, that's the problem. We just start talking about Twin Peaks for the next hour.
All right. So yeah, you're able to get in there and install your software updates with your attentive eye of Lynch monitoring what's going on there. How his environment is changing.
Yeah, and I'm still not sure who David Lynch is, so all of these references, I've just been sitting here nodding and going, okay.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they're about as weirdly esoteric as Hitchcock was, so, Astro just has weird NHPs. That's what he goes for.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Artemis wants to set the world on fire.
But that's an understandable sentiment. It's very relatable to audiences.
Lately, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, you're able to finish your upgrade. And then, you guys are en route to your destination. On your way there, it is a pretty steady trip. There's not really too much stopping you from finding your way. But Astro, as you are en route to your destination, on board the cockpit one day, you will get a message from an unknown source.
Okay. Is there any way to screen where it's from before I open it?
Yeah, you can run diagnostics on it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll get ruination conditioning in on that too, just so we're have a good working relationship. I know things are a little rough to start out with, so I'm trying to get him involved.
Okay. So ruination conditioning. Do you work on it together, or do you pass it to ruination conditioning to do a pass on it?
I'll pass it on him. I'll say, hey, can you trace back where this message is coming from? I just received this.
He'll take it from you. He'll take the message. He'll load it onto his thing. Be like, okay, boss, sure. Let's see what scam mail they're trying to send you now. I hope you're not trying to upgrade your phone plan again.
Oh no, it's another extended warranty on the DBC.
yeah. He's trying, the last one. He's like, is this another one of those things where it's asking you if you still own the hot rod ship that you used to own before the DBC? Because it has important information about your the words you said. I can't remember words today. The warranty.
Extended warranty, yeah.
Important information about the warranty of a vehicle you no longer own.
Some things never change.
Yeah. He takes it and he does a once over on it. So he's an NPC. So he'll look at it and he'll go, he looks back at you and he slowly does the thing where he tips his head down and looks over the bridge of his sunglasses at you. And he's like, it's your secret admirer again.
Oh God, I should have figured. All right. I'll open it back up at my station and see what it says.
And stop sending me these. And he'll throw it back over to your station.
All right. Let's see what
Astro, as you get it, you will notice, by the way, that Ruination Conditioning is secretly doing something at his station after he sends you the info back over.
That's interesting. Could I do I have the equivalent of an insight check? My skill triggers.
Stay cool.
Do you have like something about seeing what's going on in a situation? No, you have none of those things.
Yeah,
so it would just be a straight pilot check to determine.
All right, I'll just do a pilot check. I don't know if this increases the difficulty, but I'm trying to be subtle about it. So I'm opening up the message while kind of watching out of the corner of my eye.
The failure condition is no, it won't increase the difficulty, but the failure condition is he notices that you're spying on him.
Yeah, like I'm totally not being subtle. Yeah. Okay, 17.
So you notice that he is trying to like block his screen from you by like holding his shoulder up kind of a little bit to like get in the way. He got stung by one of the like defenses on the thing, and he is trying to hide from you that he got suckered by one of the one of the protections on the email he was trying to decode.
Okay.
He's trying to save face because the message like fucked with his computer and flipped his screen upside down, and he's like trying to get it fixed.
I like that. His screen. I used to do that with people at work. Like if they left their station, you just press Windows and down, and it flips your screen upside down.
The secret tech for that is to take a screenshot of their screen first and make their correct side up screen their background before you flip it. That way it looks like it's still the correct way up, but the mouse goes backwards and they don't know why.
Oh man, that's truly devious. All right, well, let's see what Melissa Buzz has to say.
You open it up, and it is... You've gotten a few of these over the past 3 months, Astro, and it is a request from Buzz to kind of fill them in on how your investigations for Ren are going. They are also looking into things that she's not willing to tell you about, but as a condition of the deal you made with her, she wants whatever information you find as well.
Yeah. At the moment, Astro actually doesn't mind sending her the information they've gathered because it's honestly not that much lately. So he kind of has this idea in place that he might kind of filter out some or like kind of what's the word, like withhold some information, in the future. But he doesn't see any reason to take that risk now, since it's just like we don't have a lot to show at the moment. So, business like just he'll send over what intel that we've gathered so far.
And do you also send the settlement that you're going to over? Like, do you update her question on where you're going?
Yeah, because that actually is a little more, that could be something a little more tricky. Can I send like the system it's in, but not, honestly, she would just figure it out anyway. Yeah, I suppose I'll send the settlement. Astro's not even sure if this is going to be another dead end or not.
Okay. So for your own edification, you're going to the Mento system and the Hylar settlement.
Okay.
Mentos system. Do we have Diet Coke to go with the Mentos system?
I knew as soon as I wrote down the system name, someone was going to make that joke. I almost just called it the Mentos system because I was like, I'm not going to avoid it. So
just embrace it.
Yeah. But no, Mentos is no longer a active corporation. The people who make Mentos are gone. It is now a product owned by
Coke.
No, it's the people that Astro used to work for.
Oh, yeah, and I actually don't remember.
Gosh darn it! Why is this come out of my head? It's I have this here. It's even worse. Space Disney.
Yeah.
Spidney. I can't even say it.
I have it right in my journal. It's
not in my
Terratella. Yeah, Terratella.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Terratella. They have a bunch of what they call old Earth's very marketable
products.
No, well, they are products, but what's
brands?
What's the word for like just a dumb weird distraction? You know what I mean? Like
diversion.
Yeah, it's like old Earth diversions, right? Is like one of their whole divisions of their business, right? It's like they do archaeology on old Earth culture just to like bring things back that were successful back then and market them to the current, like
reviving old brands.
Exactly. Right. Brands. Yeah. They basically are like, hey, we found this old recipe for how to make these mints, but they like explode if you dump them into soda. It's like, we'll make that part of the marketing, and it's become a whole new thing.
God!
So Coke still exists.
So they probably own the 11 herbs and spices now.
Oh yes, they do. Yes. But yeah, it explains why Astro makes as many old references to things that don't exist nowadays as he does. It's because they exist nowadays, revived in a weird zombie version of themselves.
That's a very handy way to write me out of this hole.
This hole that you've dug yourself into? Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, so that was a message that you received relatively early on the trip. And you get back a message a little bit later as you're kind of approaching the system you're headed towards. You're not used to her following up on like the information you sent her. But this time she comes back with something for you. And she says, this is just an email, so it's like not like you're talking to her. It says,
yeah.
We have information about groups operating in that area. If you can bring me some information about the Free Space Pact, I'll add it as some credit to our arrangement.
Would she say the Free Space Pack?
Yes.
Meaning those are the groups.
That's the organization that's operating in that area. You all would know from your time working kind of with the underground groups. That's like a loose association of space pirates, basically.
Okay. Sure, we'll just make a mental note of that for now.
All right. So as you get closer, you'll be arriving at this point, maybe in like a day or so. What do you all do as you're approaching your destination?
After Astro finishes his like does his like real work and finishes his upgrade, he's mostly going to be on the bridge during like the so-called business hours of the flight. But just waiting. He has pulled up a little chess challenge tutorial. He's trying to improve his game after Runation conditioning killed him last time. He's like, I'll show him. So he's just kind of being idle on the bridge for now. Until something happens.
Astro, every once in a while you're trying to learn how to play chess, you think you're playing like a learning chess program. Like you're like, okay, this is supposed to like teach me and have like progressive levels of difficulty and stuff. But every once in a while, you open it, and it's like deleted the last 2 like good moves that you've done and taken you back to when you were in a worse position.
Huh. What do I think that means?
I don't know. It's up to Astro to decide what Astro thinks.
So it's like undoing the moves.
Yeah, it's like you made a couple of moves and took a piece, and you're like, okay, finally, I made some progress, and like you save it and close out because you have some business to take care of. When you open it back up, you're like 2 moves in the past, and if you try to replicate those moves over again, it doesn't play out the same way this time.
Okay. Astro has his suspicions. He steals a dirty glance at ruination conditioning. All he knows, it could be something completely different, but he's thinking that RC is messing with his console when he's not there.
As you guys are prepped in the cockpit, who all is there? Is Steve Starling up here too?
If we're getting close to approaching, I assume I would be.
Yeah, you're like a jump away. Like you all are getting prepared to do the jump into system. Kind of like this is the first you'll get kind of like initial readings on what's there and whatnot.
Okay, yeah, then I'll be there.
Okay. Ruination conditioning is there, obviously. He has kind of like readied all the things he normally needs to do, but he is not paying very close attention. In fact, he is kind of like lazed back in his chair. He has like the back like laid down a little bit, and he's kicked his feet up on the console. Which is something that Torsay did sometimes too, but for some reason it seems more aggressive when RC does it, because he actually like puts his big dirty boots like on the keyboard and stuff, like when he's like putting his feet up. And when you tell him like, why are you doing this? Like, what? It's locked. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. He just does not respect the things in your ship as much, Astro. But yeah, as you guys are kind of like prepping, eventually someone else does enter the cockpit, is Jessica Starling. Jessica is diminutive in size, about 4'10". She has long black hair, seems to be of Asian descent, comes in with like a big platter that she has prepared with a bunch of steaming mugs on it. And in the center, she has like 3 plates with like sandwiches on it. And she just comes in and she says, hi, I think we're getting real close. I think you all need your energy. So I thought I'd bring up some food.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Jessica.
I do have some notes about you putting tea time on the request for food all the time. It's not always tea time, Astro. If you just call every meal tea time, then just a suggestion. And then she hands you your tea and sandwich on a platter.
It makes me feel so sophisticated.
Okay.
Kestrel gets up and walks over to her to get his. And then just kind of like pecks her on the cheek and goes, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, don't worry. I put your favorites on there.
The kid talked 3 times this time.
She like rolls her eyes.
As if that was some revelation, and he's like he wants to be rewarded for like having to deal with it, and then he goes and sits back down.
Yeah. That's why she rolls her eyes. She in your parlance, she's kind of calling you a big baby. But ruination conditioning like kicks his feet off the table and like jumps up when he sees the sandwiches, is like, oh yeah, thank God, sandwiches. And he just like grabs the sandwich and coffee off of there and sits down and like turns away and just starts eating. And she just like shakes her head.
He seems like the kind of guy that would have taken like the Doritos on the side and just start shoving them in the sandwich.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, of course he does. He's the only person who had like an extra thing on the side that was like on the platter he got, and he just takes it. He doesn't say anything to Jessica. He just grabs it off the platter and turns away.
When he does that, Astro will just say very pointedly, "Thank you, Jessica."
Oh, you're welcome, Astro. Glad to help. She like looks over Ruination Conditioning's shoulder at the screen and like raises an eyebrow, but then like shakes her head and just walks away. So Jessica has joined as your quartermaster and, notably for your crew, a famous cook from AO Station, according to at least Steve. She came on the crew also as part of the new hires. She has done quite well in alleviating some of the quartermaster duties that Dyne was constantly preoccupying himself with, and has taken control of your kitchen and pantry on the ship.
Dyne feels relieved having another one of his constant duties at least taken over.
Mm-hmm. Now you only need to be the doctor, not the doctor and the quartermaster and the person who writes up like all your needs and doing all the ordering and stuff. So, Dyne, you're doing maybe only 2 to 3 jobs instead of 5 jobs now.
Now you can say things like, "I'm a doctor, not an engineer."
I was literally typing that out in chat.
I was going to say, I'm becoming a doctor of engineering.
That's true.
You arrive at the gate that will take you to the Mento system. You engage, you enter through the gate, and as you warp to the destination, the first thing you notice as you arrive in the system is that you are detecting a active signal coming from the Hylar settlement.
An active signal? What kind of signal is it?
It is like various communication signals. The last settlement you arrived at was essentially a ghost town, right? Like everything was turned off, everything was packed away, and like it was, and what wasn't packed away and taken was like salvaged and taken. So it seems like some vultures maybe got there before you all and kind of maybe trampled over all the clues you were hoping to find. You are detecting that there are active like signals bouncing around down at the Hylar settlement right now. It's a few planets into the system, so you will have to go down well to get there. It'll still take a few hours, but the first thing you know is if those are active, Hylar must be occupied right now, which doesn't match the info you got from Ren.
Okay. RC, can you monitor these communication channels?
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
A bunch of arguments, it sounds like. Yeah, I already decoded them. You can call me a master hacker later.
Yeah. I'm sure I will. Send them my way to my station. Let me read what they're saying.
All right, boss man. He sends you over a few of the messages. The first one, it has no sent by or received by. It is just like data. You imagine like the sending and receiving information is like on their local systems or something. But the contents you are able to read perfectly fine. And hint at it a little bit. The first one you get basically says, "Listen here, you raccoon skull. I staked this claim 3 weeks ago. You can't just show up here and decide to start taking stuff. If you do this again, I will shoot you." The second message that you're able to decipher is just a silhouette of a white rabbit on a black flag. And underneath it says, "We're coming for you." And these are messages being sent back and forth down on that planet.
What was that pirate faction called again?
Which one?
Or that, or the one that Melissa referred to.
The Free Space Pact is a loose association of pirate groups. It is like it's like a single. So I've explained them before to you all back when you were deciding like who you wanted to work for on that one downtime. You do have a contact that you know that's part of that group. The Free Space Pact kind of is an umbrella group that's more of a we'll fight people outside our group before we fight people inside our group kind of thing. Like if two pirate ships both show up at a hit at the same time, they would fight the third party before fighting amongst themselves, right? Like they might argue over who gets the loot afterwards, but it's like a honor among thieves kind of thing that they have going on.
Yeah.
All right. But they're in competition with other groups in the sector, right? Like the Affiliation is a direct competitor of theirs and stuff. They're more like directly like will attack space convoys and take their shit. They're especially hostile against corporations, but that doesn't mean that they're on any anti-corporation group side either. Like it's just like they thumb their nose at authority, but also they'll make a buck off of anyone they can. And every pirate group has its own ethics as well. So you might know specific crews that operate differently than each other.
I'll say it sounds like we might have some various factions, maybe from the Free Space Pact, maybe from other parties, arguing about how to divvy up claims here. Anyone have any suggestions? I was gonna hail them, but now I don't think I want people to notice us quite yet. Who else is on the bridge right now?
Right now, you have Steve and Ruination Conditioning.
Oh, okay. So I'll just say, Steve, RC, do you recognize this emblem? And I'll just point out the rabbit on the flag emblem.
RC will look at it and he'll just be like, yeah, I think that's the White Rabbits, boss.
And they are?
I don't know, some knifey people, I guess. I don't know. I don't keep track of all of them.
Is he basically mainly on the fact there's a white rabbit on the flag?
He's just making shit up. He's like, oh yeah, those are the White Rabbits.
Do we even care if they take claim? I mean, we just want information. We don't want anything on the planet.
Yeah, that's true. I but I don't want to get in the middle of whatever's going on down there. Let's see if we can like touch down, and maybe we can ask around in the settlement.
We could just mess with them, piss them off, see what happens, says Ruination Conditioning.
That's a solid plan C for now. Let's just put a pin in that.
I don't know. I think making them look stupid would do wonders.
Yeah. It's an option, but I don't know if it's the most productive option at this stage. We may just piss them off, and now they're all going to attack us.
I don't see what the problem with that is.
Well, I can name a few issues, but we can quibble over details later. Steve, is there any place you can take us into land on the planet?
Sure. You want me to just pass by them?
All these communications, these are happening on the surface. Is that right?
Yeah, they're like signals being sent back and forth from one place on the surface to another place on the surface.
Who's our contact?
There's no ships nearby or anything?
That's what I was just about to get to.
Yeah.
There are ships in orbit of the planet as well. They are not the ones sending the communications, though.
Okay. That is the assumption I made. So yeah. Then I stand by what I said. You want me to just go by them, or like?
Let's approach them and hail them.
I would say so. Yeah, the White Rabbit, Astro. It would be you, Astro. Astro, you're the only person I can think of who would know with a White Rabbit flag, because you're the person who had the contact in the Free Space Pact.
I was just gonna ask, who is my contact?
Her name is Hale Oberruder. She, as far as she ran her own crew, and the reason you guys got along so well is during that year where you guys were basically just smugglers working for everyone, kind of got to know a bunch of people. Hale is the kind of person who wanted to ascend through the ranks by doing ridiculous shit and like basically gaining recognition that way, right? Like the kind of person who would throw themselves into like incredibly disadvantageous circumstances and then like trying to get themselves back out of it to like prove that she could do it. The Free Space Pact kind of the amount of weight you can throw around in the Free Space Pact has a little bit to do with your prestige, right? Like your assumed prestige amongst the crews. So people who can tell the best story about how badass they are have more weight than other people. And she struck you as very action hero-y. Combined with the fact that her personal ethos was kind of like, we'll stick it to corpse, but like we don't want to punch down. We only want to punch up at people doing better than us, right? You know that she used to run an independent crew, but you've heard rumors that she's joined up with the White Rabbits, which is a larger group of space pirates that encompasses multiple crews. So after looking at the flag for a little bit, you're like, oh yeah, I think Hale's like old crew joined the White Rabbits. But the White Rabbit is a much larger group. There's maybe like 20 different crews that all work for the White Rabbit.
Okay. So Astro is like, oh wait, I do know this flag. And he'll say, actually, belay that, Steve. Let's hold back for just a little bit. I have a contact that may know what's going on here, and I think any information we can gather about this situation happening, it would be good to gather that before we start sticking our noses in.
If Astro is looking at KESTRAL, you'll see him nod, but he doesn't say anything.
Okay. Good enough. So I'll what's the name of this settlement one more time, Bob?
The name of the settlement is Hylar, Hilar.
Got it. So I'll send a message to just like a general sort of like email or whatever to Hale, and I'll say, hi Hale, it's Astro. Do you know about the situation going on in Hylar right now? Let me know. We're in the area. Let me know if you're in comms range. I'd like to chat.
Okay. And how long are you willing to wait? Because you know that sending a message, depending on how far away that person are, if they're not in the system, it could take like a day or more for that message to get back to you.
Theoretically, if they're in the midst of all this, could they get this message
much
like
quicker,
pretty much instantly?
Yeah.
So let's wait like a few hours or so.
If you wait a few hours, then that's mostly what I wanted to know. After an hour, you get a reply, and the reply is, I'm there right now. Sure, we can chat. What's this about?
So if she's here, can we open like more of a real-time comms communication, or is that still like too far away?
You can.
So yeah, I'll send her like a request for a phone call.
Okay.
Give her a ring.
Okay. It takes you a little bit. Eventually, the other line picks up, and it's like a vid call. It comes up on your screen, and Hale is there. They are very fit. They have like a bulletproof vest on over like kind of like a military jacket. Their hair is like shaved in the side and short and like gelled back. And they have like various tattoos on their neck that go down below their neckline on their shirt. Okay. And the thing you notice immediately when you turn on the call is they don't look happy. This is a person that you're used to being jovial when they're joking and drinking with you.
Gotcha. And Hale is they, them pronouns?
She, them. So she uses they, them, or she, her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say, Hale, thanks for taking my call.
What do you want?
Wow. And no small talk, huh? Aren't you happy to see me?
I would have been happy to see you if you didn't cost me the job of a lifetime. And now, Todd, I'm going to activate a thing that happened last season.
Oh God! Oh, that's right.
You took
someone mad.
You took you took the get a damn drink action.
I did.
And lost a friend or connection. Now, thinking about it, you're like, oh, right. When I was out that one time, I was hanging out with Hale, and I got really drunk, and I don't remember seeing her afterwards. Now, as she says this, your memories are coming clearer, and you're like, oh shit, she was negotiating with some guys at a bar, and I like drunkenly staggered over to them and spilled their drinks on them, and they stormed out angrily.
Yeah, Astro's realizing this like in real time.
Yeah, she can see the literal realization coming on your face as she's talking to you.
And he'll just
say a noisy turn in my chair, like 180 to look around at Astro after she says that to see what he's doing.
Astro just says,
there's just a moment of silence as that happens.
Astro just says, "Oh shit, that was you, wasn't it?"
Oh, you were that drunk.
Well, you know, if it's any, if it helps at all, I clearly was, you know, out of my mind. I would never act that way professionally.
If I had nailed that job, I wouldn't have had to sell off to the White Rabbit, you know.
Okay, well, how about this? We are on a contract right now, trying to figure out what's going on in the settlement. If you can help us, maybe I can share some of the profits with you.
Oh, sure. You ruined my job, but want help with yours.
I know. It's not fair, but, you know, I'll try to put in a good word for you with other operators. I'll make this up to you, I promise.
All right, I'm going to need you to make a pilot check, and this will be with difficulty.
I'm gonna lay on the charm. So difficulty, you say?
Yep.
Not a problem. See what I say? That's a 20 with difficulty, not a problem.
So you rolled an 18 minus 2 plus 4. She like
he puts on his most winningness smile. It's his movie star smile.
You see them just like reach up with their fingers and do that thing where they like hold their brow a little bit, and she just looks at you and goes, if you didn't sometimes seem like a puppy who didn't know any better, people would hate you more.
That's fairly accurate, actually.
Trust me, I know.
I hit the thing in front of me, just like softly. That's what it is.
Fine, Astro, but my cut better be good.
It will be.
All right. Listen, here's what I know so far. There was like a gold rush kind of thing going on over my head, so I didn't hear too much about it. But all of a sudden, all the groups found out at once, a whole settlement just poof, gone. The security, the people, just nothing but salvage everywhere. It's perfect. And you know what? My bosses, they couldn't believe it. They were like, oh my goodness, we can just salvage everything. We can tear the pipes right out of the wall. We can just take the core right out of the power plant. No one's gonna care. So that's what we're here doing.
Are any of these groups at all curious what happened to this settlement? Or are they just completely, blinded by all the loot they're getting?
You see her turn in her chair and look out a window behind her and say, yeah, that big crane doesn't look like it cares. She turns and looks again and is like, yeah, I think that's the third building we've demoed in the last day.
Someone has to know something.
Look, if you're looking to find out what happened here, I'm going to tell you, probably no one around here cares. So you better get your foot on the pedal if you want to find anything before it is loaded onto a cargo ship and sold to the highest bidder.
All right, well, if we touch down on the planet, is anyone going to object to that?
Yeah, probably. You don't have any ties, but I'll tell you what. If I'm getting a cut on this, I'll make it part of my job. I'll just tell my bosses I got something going on the side, and you can land in our territory. No one will mess with you.
Oh, hell, you are a lifesaver. I really, really owe you extra for this one.
Oh, you're not going to like this, though. Smacks on planet.
Smacks on. What does that mean to me?
Astro, you would know that a while ago, your group ran a mission against Smack pirates. You were escorting a Terratella cargo ship to its destination and were attacked by Smack pirates, and you obliterated them. Ever since then, Smack is one of the pirate groups that has been your largest detractor.
Is this mission 0?
That was mission 0, yes.
Okay.
They are the pirate group that has the raccoon skull and crossbones as their flag.
Okay, Astro just lets out a big exhale. He says, that's gonna complicate things for sure.
It's a bit of a territory war down here. Everyone's jumping each other's claims. There's been a few skirmishes on the borders. We're here, Smack's here, and I think Kingfisher and Bete Noire are all on planet.
I assume all of you were at the last settlement too, and I'll say the name of the settlement we went on our previous off-screen mission.
She raises an eyebrow and she says, I haven't heard of that before. When was this?
And I'll say, I'll tell her what system it was in. And I'll say, we went there. Same thing. Settlement just up and disappeared. When we arrived, no one was there, but it looked like the vultures had been there already.
Are you calling me a vulture?
No, not you. Your group.
That's okay. We're vultures. Listen, no, we weren't there. But I have a good buddy in the pufferfish, and she was telling me that about like 2 months ago, she got this big score, almost no work involved, and I think she was out that way, but she didn't say where.
Interesting. Could you put me in contact with that person?
I guess so. I'm going to have to ask her permission first. So I'll reach out to her, and if she's interested in talking to you, I'll let you know.
Couldn't ask for anything more. Thank you.
Yeah, you're already asking for a lot, but money smooths the gears, so.
Money heals all wounds, right?
That's right. Money or dramatic displays of skill. And I know you don't have a lot of that, so she winks at you and smiles.
Hey, you just haven't seen me in action.
All right, well, I'll let my friends know you're coming so they don't shoot you out of the sky.
Much appreciated.
All right, anything else to say to her before she terminates the connection?
That's it.
All right.
Once it closes the connection, Asher just kind of says to himself, I'm probably going to give most of my cut to her.
Ruination like shakes his head and goes, I'm telling you, you could just send them viruses or like mock them and they'll get angry and they're dumb. And I don't know, we'll figure it out as we go.
Ignoring him, I turn.
Go. That's not exactly a plan, is it?
That's the Ruination playbook of making friends.
That's a Ruination conditioning guarantee.
He always operates on Plan C, Plan RC.
Ignoring him, I look over and go, you're a little bit more infamous than I thought, eh, boss? Or is it just with pirate groups?
Yeah, I strike out more often with the pirate groups. But, I can win them back, as you just saw.
Uh-huh.
Just gotta lay on that movie star charm.
So I take it I'm going to come over here on that side of the planet?
Yes, if you would.
I'll set a course through the bunnies.
All right. Yeah, you guys set a course and you head down to land on the White Rabbit salvage territory on the Hylar settlement. As you go past the various orbiting ships above the planet, you'll notice that, there are many of them that are, around the same size as the DBC, but most of them are a little bit smaller. They're like fast attack ships or like ships meant for docking and boarding other ships. But you pass and even with your IFF set to like civilian, none of them open fire on you. So that's good. And as you make your way down through the planet, you get a sense from above of what's going on in the city. All over the city, and it's an abandoned settlement, but it wasn't necessarily a small settlement. You can tell that it was basically one major city settlement with a lot of like surrounding smaller settlements and farms. It is a fertile planet. You imagine that this was probably like a crop colony because there are fields and fields aplenty outside the main city. As you pull down, though, the city itself is covered in scaffolding and basically like what you would associate with construction vehicles, although they're all demolition vehicles. There are cranes with wrecking balls. There are like small cargo ships like hovering around that have like salvage and extraction hooks hanging from them. And all over the city, you see a concerted effort to basically tear the whole place apart going on. You are able to locate the White Rabbit landing zone. And as you get close, Ruination Conditioning, who's on comms, says, all right, boss, I got you. Hey, Cigar, it's 23C. Can you get us there? I said, can you get us there?
I'm like already flying us there.
He looks at Astro and like shrugs at him. It's like, what are we gonna do about this guy?
What are we gonna do about this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not the problem. And then he's like, okay, I got us a landing point. We'll see what happens. You need me to do anything?
I think we're good. I'll keep you posted. If you want to take 5, that's fine.
All right, cool. Bye. And he stands up out of his seat and just leaves the cockpit.
Oh, gosh, why did Rock have to take Torsay away from us? He'll say after he leaves the room.
All right. Well, you have landed on the Hylar settlement and have an idea of the people who've beaten you there. We'll go ahead and call the session here, and then when we pick up next time, we'll see how you go about navigating the odd politics of competing pirate salvaging crews to try and find if there is any evidence left you can salvage yourselves.
Arr, matey.
Arr.
All right.
I think Astro's plan is to adopt a pirate accent and get a parrot so he can fit in.
You mean he didn't have a parrot prop in his room already?
I know, it's an oversight, what can I say?
Has Astro been in a pirate movie?
Oh, yes, of course. He's been in every, stupid genre movie.
Yeah, he's been in all the genre films. Yeah.
I bet you were in, a remake of, Pirates of the Caribbean, I bet.
Yeah. But he didn't play like an important role. He wasn't the new incarnation of Jack Sparrow.
No, he was the captain of the fleet of Imperial ships who was always chasing the pirates.
Yeah, exactly.
like East India Company or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.